guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm John.
And guys, we decided to change things up a bit. So we have been historically known to post on Thursdays. However, due to posting regulations on most of the streaming apps that we use, it is better for us to post on Fridays. So hopefully that doesn't ruin too many of your schedules, but from now on, we will be posting on Fridays.
Completely ruins my schedule.
I know, and I'm sorry about that. But so moving forward, unless there is something special that we need to inform you guys about, we will be posting on Fridays. And we're also going to change up the intro. This was a bit of Mark's idea. So I wanted to add all of our social medias, all of our streaming platforms in the beginning so that, God forbid, you guys get busy in the middle of listening, you don't forget us. So please give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Something Super Podcast, at SS Podcast 52 on Twitter, and we are available on every major streaming service. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Anchor. Always, thank you so much for hosting us. This is usually where I say goodbye, but now let's get started. So we are doing sort of a potpourri episode. We're going to hit a bunch of different topics. We're going to talk a bunch of different comics, things we're looking forward to. As we draw near the end of the year, this is a special episode for us. So we are closing in on episode 50 by the numbers. That is not including our special episodes that we've posted here and there for veterans, for Suicide Awareness Month, and things of that nature. But we are coming up on a milestone. So that is big for us. We want to say a big thank you to John for coming and joining our team full time. And let's learn a little bit about all of our interests, I guess, a little bit further, because you guys know Mark and I. So, John, I know you said you're a big DC guy, so give us a little bit of your background.
So, my background in comics and in superheroes in general, I can go back and really realize that I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. I grew up watching Batman Beyond. The Teen Titans was a big thing growing up. Great show. I thought it was amazing.
Just to be clear, not Teen Titans Go.
Yes.
God,
yes.
that is
Titans.
Sorry for
Titans.
that. Is an atrocity.
Oh my goodness.
But continue.
Did you guys see the one where Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go fight?
Is it kind of like where Godzilla fights the American version and just obliterates him in like 10 seconds?
I turned it off.
I don't blame you, to be 100% honest.
If you ever want to go and watch that, it's on HBO Max in the DC section, and it is oh boy, it's just go see it yourself. You'll love it. So another show that I thought was amazing growing up that I was so obsessed with was, I don't know if you guys watched it, but Justice League, the animated series.
Absolutely.
And then Justice League Ultimate. And one of my favorite characters was actually the Martian. And he came in a little bit later, but once he did, he was one of my favorite DC characters for the longest time.
Johns.
That's right. And when he got introduced in Zack Snyder's Justice League just recently, I fangirled hard. I was so excited to see his appearance. It was such a great intro, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it was at the end, but you know what? We'll see a little bit more of him later down the line. Most people usually like the Flash, Batman, Superman, Martian.
Fuck Superman.
So yeah, those were Batman Beyond was a good one, where you can see that old Bruce Wayne giving up the ranks and giving it to the younger kid, and those were just some pretty good episodes. I liked how they also did with most of those between Batman Beyond and Justice League, how they didn't just do like one episode and then move to the next thing. It was always, the storyline was really good. It was, you get your first episode and it plays right into that next episode that plays into that final episode to really wrap it up. And then they would go to the next story portion.
Now, did you watch Batman the Animated Series too, or no? Did
yeah,
you come
the
in later
older.
than that?
No. The you talking about the older one with the that Joker? I thought that Joker was the best Joker.
Mark Hamill.
For the
Luke
longest.
Skywalker.
Mark Hamill. Yes, he was a phenomenon.
Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy.
Yep, Mark Hamill was definitely one of the best Jokers, at least voice actors for Batman.
Troy Baker doesn't do a bad job. I just watched the Long Halloween parts 1 and 2 the other night because
That is on my list.
I'm addicted. I read the comics series first, so I wanted to compare it. But Troy Baker, who did the voice, if you've played Batman Arkham Origins, he does the voice of the Joker in that game, and he does such a phenomenal job. He's no Mark Hamill. Don't get me wrong. Like when I read the comics, I hear Mark Hamill, but
exactly when you think of the Joker, you think of Mark Hamill's voice. In my opinion, that's who I hear.
Yep.
You want to know the funniest thing about that? I mentioned it in one of our other things. He didn't even want to be the Joker. He was auditioning to be Two-Face. And they were like, you know what? How about you read this script instead? And he, next thing you know, boom, he is what he is.
Yeah, he might not have been the best actor, but he was a great voice actor.
Yes.
100%.
So yeah, the animated series of Batman, I did. They were very enjoyable.
What about I'm trying to think of DC properties that people don't realize are DC properties, like Static Shock. Did you guys watch Static Shock on the
I
CW?
love that show.
A little bit.
Did you know it was a DC product?
Yes. Yeah.
At the time, no.
Later down the line, I did. Not during the time, but Static Shock, that was a pretty good series.
Go on, Steve.
I like Static Shock. I had no idea he was a DC property at the time. I mean, like looking back on it, like it was pretty obvious because it was on Warner Brothers. Like it was all of the same, you had your Batman, you had your Superman, you had all of those shows, Justice League, etc. So, I mean, yes, it makes sense now. But as a kid, I was like, gosh, there's like another superhero. Like it doesn't, it's not your classic, big three.
Right.
But speaking of Batman, John, what is your opinion, and Mark, you as well, of I don't know if you guys read anything about the new Batman, where it's supposed to be like a really dark take on the Batman timeline.
With oh God.
Sparkly Vampire Man.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Everybody,
come on.
I saw the interview or the commercial. I'm indifferent, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to see how he does. I'm not going to write him off right away. I mean, every time you see him, you automatically think of that series. And
so I will conversely say that I also think of Harry Potter because he played Cedric Diggory.
True. That is true.
So I would prefer to think about Harry Potter because I've never actually watched an entire Twilight movie. So that being said,
I don't think you have to.
I got the gist of it. But I am excited to take a peek at a younger Batman. Yes. And if what I've read about is true, it's supposed to be a very like gritty take on it. So I want to see some, aggression. I want to see some dark Knight stuff. I'd like to, I don't know. I think that's the next move. We've seen all the good Batmans that have come out of the past, whatever, almost 30 years, since we've been alive. And I don't think Robert Pattinson's going to do a terrible job. I do think that it's going to be a different take though. So if anyone goes into it expecting, your classics like Batman Forever, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, you're not going to get that. And I think that's probably a good thing. I was having this conversation with one of my friends, like we are tired of hearing the same old origin stories, getting the same regurgitated shit. Like that's why I said, like, yeah, Superman's cool, I get it, but fuck Superman. Like I don't care. Superman's so goddamn OP. I want a different side of Batman, and I would be completely cool with like a live action Batman Beyond series. I know he's a crispy critter, but I think that would be an interesting take too. Yes, Terry fucking McGinnis.
So for me, I have not conflicted, but I don't know how I feel about it. So I watched the trailer. You guys have both seen the trailer for it, right?
Yeah, trailer. I said commercial. Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, commercial, whatever. So from the knowledge that I have of this, because I've already started doing my research. So number one, Robert Pattinson, like everybody knows him because of Twilight, but he's actually like a really big like indie actor. Like he has a ton of really good movies on the indies. Number one, they need to hand out the Oscar right now to the makeup team for this movie because Colin Farrell does not look like Colin Farrell at all.
Really?
Yeah, he's playing I'm drawing a blank right now, but if you look up a picture of him right now in the Batman, you're gonna be like, that's not Colin Farrell. Like, no. But it's supposed to be sometime during year 1 or year 2. And Steve, I mean, in the trailer, you see that kind of like grittiness. Like the one dude, like he just walks up, grabs him, punches him in the face like
He plays the
6
Penguin,
times. That's it. Penguin.
and you were absolutely correct. This is haunting, haunting, dude.
Yeah, like
I
I
mean,
had to.
I'm not
I
even
felt
gonna lie. Like,
No.
Colin Farrell's like just a genuinely like he's a good looking dude. This guy is like, I'm gonna snatch your kids in a white van.
Yeah. And like I said, and I mean, there's more to this movie. Like, I have my own theories. Like, a lot of people are expecting the main villain to be like Hush, which I would love. I would love to see a live action Hush finally, because, like you said, I'm sick of regurgitating Harvey Dent. I'm sick of regurgitating Poison Ivy. Um, I will never be sick of Joker, but I'm starting to get to that point where it's like, yeah, there's like a million villains in the Rogues. Let's see something else. Like,
Absolutely
obviously, just like with
Oh.
Superman, like you need Lex Luthor, but like branch out, show Doomsday, show like, other people. But for this movie, like I could see it not being received greatly because it's not, like you said, it's not like people want to see. It's not the Dark Knight. It's not going to be like, we got a darker Batman and Batman versus Superman. Everybody trash Ben Affleck when he's he's my favorite Batman.
Really?
Batman, not Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
He's my favorite. Michael Keaton is my favorite Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he was a good Bruce Wayne. He was good.
Ben, honestly, even George Clooney. George Clooney played a pretty decent
Yes.
Bruce Wayne. Yes, it was campy, but like the suave, the look, the like he did everything right. But like to me, the epitome of who Batman is in live action is Batman. Love it or hate it, Batman versus Superman. That warehouse fight scene.
That was good. It was a good warehouse
Like-
fight scene. I don't know.
When you break it down, in that fight, you see 7 different kinds of martial arts, along with at least 4 different gadgets. Like that's Batman.
True.
Like Christian Bale, I don't know, his suit was just so stiff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they make the joke of that in the movie where like he's like, I can't
gotta
look
turn
left
your
and
head.
right. Yeah. Like so they obviously give him the upgraded suit. I think he was the most, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the most technically or technologically advanced Batman. And they gave you a little bit of like, the R&D aspect of Wayne Tech, where like they were developing all of his weapons and high-tech armor and suits and vehicles and shit like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. And that was, I guess more of a fan service that like Lucius Fox in that regard. Like I actually really enjoyed that.
That Batman wouldn't be able to go up like that Batman wouldn't be able to go up against Superman like Ben Affleck's Batman. I mean,
No.
The way they took that Batman compared to Batman Beyond. I mean, Batman Beyond was fighting the criminals, the Joker, the
Sure.
Two-Face, Bane. They were just, they were mortals basically. Ben Affleck's Batman had all that high tech, futuristic stuff. Like Mark was saying. I guess the more I'm thinking about it, Mark, the better. I can see where you can make that argument where he was the better Batman.
Like I like if you're gonna do a comic movie, like stick to the comics. I don't like when you like. Yes, I like having like a little narrative in there, like giving it its own story. But the reason why Marvel is just outperforming DC is because DC's just trying to hit that home run, and they're not doing the legwork to get there. They're not putting the guys on first, second, and third to drive in those runs. Like so many people have been asking for a Man of Steel 2, and it's would have been so easy to do, but they won't do it. Instead, they're going to probably cast somebody new and do a new movie for Superman in another 3 years, just like Marvel does with Spider-Man. Because now they're talking about Tom Holland might not come back as Spider-Man now.
I'll burn it to the
Already?
ground.
Already, he was probably he
He's
is
so young. We
second
don't
best
need-
Spider-Man. Second
He
best.
looks so young.
But he is, I mean, comparatively to Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, he's young.
Well,
No, that's what I'm-
especially Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, well, Tobey Maguire's old as fuck right now. But that's besides, like, my big thing is he is willing to do all of Disney's Spider-Man dirty work until he can't do it anymore. But
Right.
even on the flip side of that, like, we are just about to open the Spider-Verse. So why not, let it happen? We don't need another Spider-Man again. Like, people just fell in love with Tom Holland. This is the most rapidly that they've pushed out 3 Spider-Man movies in any timeline. And it's part of the MCU. Like, I don't want them to be like, oh, we're going to recast fucking Iron Man. No, he just died. Chill the fuck out.
Now, devil's advocate, you said, and I quote, I forget what you said exactly, but you said something along the
And I quote, doo, doo, doo.
Yeah, no, I know. Pretty much, you just said, you don't want to recast, you don't want another Spider-Man. How would you feel if they opened the Spider-Verse and to exit Tom Holland, they brought in a Miles Morales?
That's perfectly fine because that's different. And
But it's a recast. It's
that or Gwen Stacy, as wasn't she the
yeah,
she died.
Spider-Gwen.
Well, yeah, she died.
Well,
Yeah, but not
in that
the,
universe.
not in the Spider. Yeah, that universe. But she became back as Spider-Girl in the other
Yeah.
in the multiverse.
Spider-Gwen. I'll take it.
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, so I would take
Fuck all that. We want Spider-Pig.
all of it. Give me all of it. I want
Spider-Pig.
if Tom Holland's exit was the intro to
Miles.
Miles Morales and a Spider-Gwen, and those could be even spin-off series. That could
Yeah.
be Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales could be a buddy cop series. I don't give a fuck. Like Falcon Winter Soldier. Give me that shit all day. Cool. But I mean, how long has Tom Holland been Spider-Man? A couple of years?
Yeah, like what?
5
30?
years?
30?
Yeah, but I mean, I could see him wanting to move on, do more
But
serious
that's the
projects.
thing. He doesn't want to move on. He said, I'm willing to do Spider-Man until Disney's done with me. And Disney was like, got it. We're done with you. Thanks. And again, I get it. But at the same time, I also think that he has a lot of time left in him. Now, he doesn't have the normal, he doesn't really have sidekicks in any of the movies anyway, but like, he has Ned in this movie. How do you guys feel about his best friend and their sort of comic duo?
Who, Ned?
Yes.
Like Tom Holland or Spider-Man and Ned? I mean, I think
He's never
currently
had someone like that before.
no,
Not in any of the Sony movies or etc.
No, I mean,
No, it was always him and Harry.
yeah,
Yep.
him and Harry.
How do you
all the
feel about
time.
them not having the Osborns in this at all?
I actually love it because
So-
we've already heard that story twice, and it's a beatdown story. It's always the same concept. You have his dad and him. Well, the first one with the Amazing Spider-Man. You have his dad, and then you have him in the second one, and it's just a beatdown story from the first Spider-Man and the second Spider-Man and the third. Tom. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I slightly disagree with you. Like I agree, like we've seen it before, but to me, it was just like it. I want to reference like the movie Man of Steel. So like when he's fighting Zod, they crash into a Wayne Tech satellite, and they crash into a LexCorp truck. However, we never see Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor. So I feel like for them to be completely absent from the universe, I don't agree with it. But I don't think we necessarily need the characters. Have him swing by Oscorp. Have him mention Oscorp.
Correct.
like give an explanation, like, oh, like he bumps into a Harry Osborn or he meets Norman Osborn at a tour because he's just a geeky nerd and that's what he does. But don't make him an intricate part of the story. You know what I mean?
I
But
agree.
he's not the same Spider-Man in that universe.
That's what makes
Tobey
Spider-Man
Maguire.
Spider-Man. Like he's a geeky,
Yes, he
techie
is.
kid
Yes.
in the.
Now I don't remember if Miles Morales one actually had the Osborns in there as well, or Oscorps in there.
It would have, because he's in the same city.
Well, they're all in the same city.
But so he's not going to be. He fights some of the same people, but not all of the same people. And I get where you're saying, Mark. Like, it is Osborn and Oscorp and the Green Goblin are like integral parts. Like, when you think of Spider-Man's like arch nemesis, it is the Goblin.
Well, I'm not even talking about just that. Just like to Marvel as a whole, like Norman Osborn and his company is like plays a huge part when it comes
correct.
to like
He's a tech giant.
Yeah, like when it comes to like Hive and all these other facets of the universe, like how do you not have?
I agree 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need to have
presence.
Yeah, I agree. We don't need to have him as a villain. Even again, we've seen the trailer. We've gone over the trailer, so we know we're eventually going to get our Goblin. But I think it's a huge thing to, like you said, at least mention Oscorp. Like, oh, where did you get the idea for this? Oh, Oscorp.
It's an Oscorp prototype.
Yeah, something along. Like, give me just a nibble. I just want to dip my.
I just need to know that they're actually there. You can keep them behind the curtain, but kind of like let us know that there's a curtain for them to stand behind.
Sure.
Speaking of the Goblin, I just watched probably about a month ago the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Can we acknowledge how terrible that
Goblin?
Oh,
acknowledge how terrible the casting of Harry Osborn was.
Oh yeah, that was even worse. That whole thing. But I will say the takeaway that saved the ending of that movie was Paul Giamatti as the Rhino.
Yeah.
I like how literally the last 5 seconds of that movie was like the pitch in the trailer for people to get people in to come and see it was like him webbing the sewer drain, swinging it around and about to clash with Rhino. That was like the key marketing point. And literally it was like the last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Sony right there. Assholes.
Yep. They have, but that's the thing. We have, because of that, and because of both of those worlds, we have a lot of potential for this upcoming Spider-Man movie, which is awesome.
Right.
I know, John, you said you, as a kid, were big into DC. How do you, what side do you fall on now, Marvel or DC? Or do you, sort of waver somewhere?
I like all of them, to be honest with you. I mean, I think right now it's definitely Marvel, but I'm hooked on the Titan series right now. I mean, I shouldn't say hooked because I've been busy with, like everybody's life. But anytime I get the chance to sit down and actually watch something, I'll either throw the Titan series on or throw maybe get on Disney Plus and throw another Marvel movie on. So I think right now it's definitely Marvel, just because Marvel has the better storylines right now.
All right.
But I think DC definitely has potential as long as they stop recasting and actually stick with a major plot.
Oh yeah. See, and that's the one thing that I always tell people. I'm like, if they could just stick with who they cast. I mean, there's a reason why Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman, Ian McKellen, all these guys played Magneto, Wolverine, you name it. The MCU actors, that's it. When they eventually do bring in Wolverine into the MCU, because mutants are coming, I don't know how fans are going to react when it's not Hugh Jackman anymore. Yep. I've heard Tom Hardy's name thrown out there, but obviously now with him being Venom and whatever ends up happening with Sony and Disney there, I've heard so many different actors names thrown into a hat, but like what's gonna actually happen?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious about a lot of that stuff. We've got more. I mean, Marvel's not stopping anytime soon. They're on a very accelerated roll, and I think that they have a lot planned for their future. Like I'm sure they already have Phase 5 started on the books, and I agree. Like the big time players, like if you were to bring mutants in, and we'll just stick to X-Men mutants that we have already met. The heavy hitters, you're not going to get the same reaction that you would. Again, even just Hugh Jackman, Ian McKellen, like stuff like that, they are who we know and love as those characters. Now, am I saying that they can't find an actor or actress to fill those roles? Absolutely not. But it is going to be a bit of a mind fuck in the beginning.
And see, the one thing that I have always felt is like in the comics, like both DC and Marvel, like you have an infinite amount of universes. So like I say fuck it. Like anybody who has like a superhero idea, like throw it fucking out there. Give us Thomas Wayne's Batman versus Martha Wayne's Joker. Give us a what if series where the Punisher does work for Shield. Give us Edward Norton back as the Incredible Hulk. Like fuck it.
I would love to see that. I would love to see Edward. I liked him as the Hulk. I thought he was.
He's so much better than Mark. He's so much better than Mark Ruffalo.
That's what I mean.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
He would have been so much better.
Like Mark Ruffalo was like good, but like I don't know. Edward Norton just brought something to the character. He brought like the intensity, kind of like I don't know. With Mark Ruffalo, like whenever you see his like Bruce Banner, I never feel like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, like one little thing could bring out the Hulk. Like with Edward Norton, I was just waiting the entire movie. I was like, this asshole's just gonna be Hulk the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he's got a watch that tells him like when his heart rate's going too high. Like he's sending samples of his blood, which I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would you even like think that's a good idea?
Yeah, but I thought that was the best Hulk movie out there.
Oh, by far. And how hasn't Marvel done a standalone Hulk movie yet? Like,
right?
I think it was because of the prior flops. They were worried about it. Plus, if you
could easily do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
They could easily do a Hulk for She-Hulk. Easily.
Well, they're doing
they're doing a She-Hulk series.
Yeah, right. But they could have done that. They could have already done that.
But I think it was because, again, and we've had this conversation. We had the big three: your Cap, Thor, Iron Man. Those were the heavy main focus. Now, Flash hasn't gotten his own movie. Cyborg didn't get his own movie. Aquaman finally got his own movie. But if you look at the big three for DC, it's the same.
The Trinity.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Yep.
So, again, now, even looking back, we'll say 20 years, Iron Man wasn't one of the heavy hitters for Marvel. He only became popular, I want to say, because of Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU.
100%. He was a C-lister.
Yep. The story was always good, and I think Robert Downey Jr. fucking destroyed it. We are all fully aware at this point, 50 episodes in, that I'm a huge Robert Downey Jr. fan. But his presence on screen and the fact that his life damn near mirrored Tony Stark's was, I think, what made him a good Tony Stark. So I think that's a big reason that Hulk never got his own movie. And I think at this point, Mark Ruffalo's sort of seen better days in that regard. It's been over 10 years. And if you look at the first Avengers movie, I mean, like I was watching like side by sides and clips and stuff like that of the first Avengers movie versus like Endgame, and Mark Ruffalo has been put through the ringer, man.
I have a question for both of you. And if you need a second to think, I'll tell you my answer. What is, like, if you had to pick one moment in any live action superhero movie, could be anything. It could be way back to Steel. It could be all the way as new as
Steel. Jesus Christ.
I know. That's why I said it. But no, like if you had to just pick like any movie like that had like a superhero or whatever. It could be Marvel, it could be DC, whatever. What's your favorite like wow moment?
Live
Like
action
for
only.
live action only, just because in like cartoons you can literally do whatever the fuck you want. But what was your
Okay.
holy grail like? Holy shit! Like your ultimate fanboy moments. Like I know a lot of people. It's Endgame. There's a certain scene like
Nope. I got one, and it's the most this may be the most controversial scene that we're going to talk about tonight because the movie was not great overall. Did not like the overall theme of the movie.
Steel.
Yeah, Steel, definitely. Iron Man 3, the House Party Protocol. That was my favorite scene in all of MCU. I get it, and hate on me if you will, because Endgame was fucking awesome. The Captain America picking up Thor's hammer, I get it. That's iconic. But for me as a fucking Iron Man fanboy, like I'm literally sitting next to a Lego Iron Man head, and I have so much other Iron Man shit in my little studio. Like that was the coolest thing in the world because it showed you Tony Stark wasn't just the red and gold. He had multiple iterations of that suit throughout the 3 movies, but holy fucking shit. This dude had like 85 fucking suits running around. Some were for underwater drilling, some were for space travel, some were just brute strength and force, and some were super nimble. And like I think it was awesome for Marvel to like deep dive and create all of those suits. So that
Fair
was
enough.
my fanboy moment.
What about you, John? What was your like? And it could be what anything. It could be newer, older.
Well, I mean, so Steve is a Iron Man fan. I'm actually a Captain America fan. Go Cap on my end of things. So I would say it would be another Marvel movie. I mean, just right off the top of my head, if I really had to really think about it, I could probably bring up something else. But right off the top of my head is actually when that build up when they're going in with Winter Soldier, and they're trying to hunt down the guy at the base, and then he's like, "Nope, screw that. I killed everybody." And by the way, here is a video. Iron Man, how about you take a look? And finds out that Winter Soldier killed his family and killed his parents. And that buildup of just when he looks at Cap and says, "Did you know?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And you knew from there that everything just changed for the worst, the best. That fight scene, I mean, you could see. I mean, I'm a Captain America fan, but you could see that rage that Iron Man had. I mean, he's going up against the Winter Soldier and Captain America, 2 super soldiers right there that are just
Right.
and he's taking them on one at the same
He's
time.
just on an emotional adrenaline rush.
Yeah. It really did show how strong Iron Man really was, not just with his tech, but he really just outsmarted him and showed that brute strength doesn't always win against brute strength. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy raged hard. He lost in the end, but did he
I mean,
really?
he put himself up against 2 super soldiers. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I can say almost without a doubt, I can't speak for Bucky, but I'm sure Cap was pulling punches.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Cap
I
didn't
mean,
want
Bucky
to
straight up
kill.
tried to rip the arc reactor out of his
Correct. Yeah.
chest. To like,
I don't think Steve Rogers was trying to kill Iron Man. Bucky I can't speak for Bucky.
Bucky's like, screw you, man. I don't really know you right now. Yeah, no, Bucky was definitely going for the kill on that one. And I just like it. I like how Marvel really didn't. I'm just talking about in general. I like how they didn't really water down the violence of like these characters are exactly what they say they are in the comics, and that is they are violent.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that would be mine for the most iconic, the most wow, like, oh, it's about to go down.
so for me, it was, I remember I was 7 years old. So
So it was
maybe
Steel.
Nah, I was probably a little bit older. So it was the first time I saw the first X-Men movie. Just that opening sequence with like, I mean the original one, not the newer one with
that's terrible.
Michael Fassbender and all them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you first see Magneto's powers like develop when he's getting separated from his mom in Auschwitz.
That was good.
Yeah. Like just the kid's performance, like for me, like, yeah, we know what the X-Men franchise has been since those movies, and even those movies alone weren't, knock your socks off. But like that, the one thing X-Men movies do is they give you just iconic scenes. Like, you got the slow down time with
love it.
That's what I'm saying. Like in what was it, First Class?
Yeah, the Quicksilver.
Was it First Class when they're in the kitchen?
I believe so.
Yeah. So like with Quicksilver, so like they have these just scenes, but for me, like if I close my eyes and I just think of any scene that like I can replay in my head, like that's the one that I can bring the most detail. I mean, the pain in the kid's face, like for a child actor, like to put in that kind of a freaking performance for literally a type of movie that they were like, oh, we're just gonna do this because it's funny. Like nobody expected superhero movies to be what they are now, and that's why you have things like Bad Nipples, the Bat Credit Card. That's why you have like all these cheesy cameo things. Like I think there was a Captain America show where he stole a guy's truck in an episode or something. He's like, yeah, America needs it. And like he walked the dude away having like a normal conversation. He walked away from the truck talking to the guy, and they just turned and just ran into the truck, stole the truck, and drove off and left the guy. But like no one expected superhero movies and stuff to come to be what they are today. And there's such a cult following behind it. It's insane.
Yes, I am 100% sure we have to do. I know we did Marvel or the big three, but we could even pick 3 from DC and do an episode on them. Like 3 big heroes, excluding Superman and Batman.
All right, I'll give you one. This is gonna throw you in a loop. Hawk Girl.
Hawk Girl?
Yeah. Hawk Girl. Okay. DC.
Well, I mean, we don't have to do that right now. We don't have to do it now. But
that's fine. But that's my nomination right there. That's
all right. So
that's
that's your character. You have to pitch why Hawk Girl is your favorite DC character.
Can we just address the immediate
favorite? Oh, hold on.
Well, it doesn't have to be a favorite, but like we picked the big 3. Like
we each picked a character. It just happened to be the big 3.
Yeah.
And then we basically did like we analyzed their story arcs and we thought like we compared them to each other. But can we just address the immediate like dismissal of that idea? You literally said Hulk or else he's like, nah.
Well, no, so it wasn't dismissal. It was I wanted to verify that he said Hawk Girl because
no, you didn't. You said nah. Like literally.
I'm gonna replay. I'm gonna play it back. I'll see if I said yeah.
Maybe not in that tone, but literally, it was a hot half a second before you pretty much were like, nah.
I'm pretty sure there's an eye roll there too. Like seriously, Hawk Girl, really? She was a very prominent character in Justice League animated series. I'm just saying.
And she's also a prominent character in what the fuck?
Legends.
Legends, yes. That's another show that just has like obscure. Like I'm a huge fan of Firestorm. Huge Firestorm fan. Yeah. Nah. Where's your yeah? Fuck you. And I think that DC, or well, I guess CW did a great job in bringing Firestorm in. I understand that it was supposed to be like Ronnie, Caitlin's boyfriend, and he died, whatever. But then they found like Jefferson, who fucking killed it, just straight killed it. And I thought it was a solid character. Again, I think that's one of those characters that's like real obscure, but has like super cool powers that no one really fucking talks about. Like, yes, he is essentially the Human Torch, but he's 2 fucking people, and one of them is a genius.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I just think that there's a lot of DC characters they haven't done justice to yet.
Like Captain Marvel.
I mean, what? No, that one's in yeah. Oh wait, sorry. Captain Marvel from DC. Got it. I was like Captain
Right.
Marvel from Marvel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shazam.
From me.
The original Captain Marvel.
Shazam. All right. First of all,
Shazam was the
Shazam's
original.
great. Shazam's
fucking
great.
awesome.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying before Shazam, he was Captain Marvel.
Yes,
and
I
then
know.
Marvel Comics became a thing. There was a whole lawsuit about it. Then they lost the right to Captain Marvel, so they called him Shazam. And now you have shitty Captain Marvels and fuck Brie Larson.
This is going on like I think episode 2 right now. Fuck Brie Larson.
So I completely agree. Shazam is a fucking awesome character, and
He's OP as shit too.
I love. I mean, he's essentially fucking.
He's
Wonder
Superman.
Woman and Superman
Just he's
had a
not.
baby.
Well, he's Superman. Just if Superman's weakness wasn't magic.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure didn't they say that he was technically stronger than him? I'm pretty sure that they said like he had a huge iconic if I remember correctly in the animated series where he's like talking to the whole Justice League around the table. He's like, yeah, if this is how Justice League is going to be, I don't want to be a part of it. And frankly, if you have a problem with that, I'll take you all along.
No, Shazam's like legitimately like probably more. I think he's one of the most OP characters in DC. The problem is that he's a 10-year-old kid.
Right.
Well,
Like-
all right. So let me ask you guys a question about Shazam and the character of Shazam. So occasionally it's Billy Batson,
Correct.
but then sometimes it's a group of children.
In the comics, it's I think
That's
7 different children because Shazam has the powers of the 7 different gods.
Correct.
I think it's 7.
I think I want to say 9, but
No.
I have a
Shazam. Easy Google.
so yeah, it's a weird, fucking weird dynamic. Like, is it one kid or is it a bunch of kids?
So there's different iterations. So I think originally it was however many, 7 or 9 or whatever. But then when the new 52 came
6.
out, 6. I was close. But yeah, because it's the wisdom of Solomon, the power of Zeus, it's like all the main people. But I think with the new 52 drop, they redid some origins and they tweaked some origin stories. And that's when it's now one kid.
Yeah, I prefer that.
Because I mean, it makes more sense because like, yeah, like I get like there's certain parts like in Flashpoint, it's like the 6 kids.
Yep.
And then Wonder Woman murders Billy Batson, and then they can't become Shazam anymore. And I can only assume that the rest of the kids get slaughtered. But
Yep.
but like in the
No.
live action,
Dude, I was just about to say live action Flashpoint.
Zachary Levi's doing amazing.
Fucking dude, we just need like obviously I'd be cool with Grant Gustin as a live action Flash, but like I mean Ezra Miller's not bad either. I
liked Ezra Miller. Well, now that I actually saw what he did in the movie, not the 5-second pieces that they cut up and clipped together and made look way worse than they were.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Flash movie that's going to be coming
absolutely.
out. And you know me, like I'm a Flash fan. Like,
Flash. We went back to like how Flash didn't really have a movie or anything like that, but he had that long TV series.
Yeah, it's still going. It's pretty bad now, but
the CW series.
Yeah,
it's so fucking campy. God, like, all right, so the first like 3 seasons, it was like Barry gets powers, Barry loses powers, Barry gets powers back. Cool, get it. But I mean, what can you do with the Flash? The Flash is another character. DC made a bunch of really fucking OP characters.
Right.
And we've had this talk before that like DC is not based in the real world. DC is based in DC world and Marvel is based in the real world. Now, obviously, like in DC, they do have real cities and they have real states and like they're in America, obviously. But like most of the cities that these characters are from are not real. Right. Whereas Marvel, like Iron Man
from New York.
Yeah, Iron Man and Batman are the exact same character essentially. But I don't think Tony Stark can bench press 1,500 pounds.
Right.
So like that's where like no matter what you can pit character against character against character over and over. Like again, Quicksilver versus the Flash. Like Quicksilver doesn't move fast enough to literally fucking rip your heart out without even trying. Like maybe he could, but you're not going to see that from Marvel. The Flash is the most fucking one of the most OP characters. He could literally kill the entire Justice League and not even have to think about it.
Right.
Maybe except Batman.
Dude, he could literally destroy time, like entire timelines, just by visiting them. Like, but
Yeah. And they touched on that. I mean, not to keep going to recent things, but Zack Snyder's, they touched on that time travel portion of the Flash that maybe some people didn't know about.
Yep.
I mean, Superman technically he doesn't see, that's what's weird. So Superman doesn't like, I don't know if I would call it time travel, but he can fluctuate time. Like if he flies fast enough around the world, like it starts spinning backwards. Like I don't know if I would consider that, like he rewinds time a little bit, but like I don't know, like Barry could be like, poof, I'm with the dinosaurs now. Poof, I'm in the year 3058. Like I don't know if Superman can like jump around like that or not.
I'm no math magician here, but I don't think that spinning the Earth backwards reverses time. Now I understand that's the DC like thought process for it, but that would literally just kill everyone on Earth because like the speed at which we were rotating, if we
Maybe
just stopped, we would all just fucking explode. Like we're dead.
Again, we're not in real time in DC.
I know, and that's the funny thing. Like I know that back in the day, like was it
I think that was Christopher Reeves movie.
Yes, like he like spun around the Earth so many times that like reversed time. But even still, they did the Justice League series where Flash and Superman raced. It was like the race around the world.
Yeah, how's that even a thing?
Now, my big issue is I feel like, again, we haven't really seen it from Superman that much. Obviously, we saw it in the Zack Snyder Justice League where like the Flash was running around him and the Flash was like, oh, I'm going to like sneak up on this guy. And you see him like turn his head and he's like, oh, shit. But I know I've mentioned this before because we've talked about CW Flash. I have such an issue with the inconsistency in that show as of like season 4 or 5 on, because the Savitar the episode, the entire point of the episode was for Barry to run like 60 feet faster than anything he's ever run before. And I get it. Like it's 60 feet. He's trying to save his wife, whatever. Like it's a high pressure situation. But then like I believe it was at the end of that episode, he handed out invitations to his wedding and gave every invitation out to everyone in the city. And let's just take note that like Oliver Queen does not live close by, in like a fucking second. So you're telling me this man can go deliver mail to like 100 people, but can't run 60 feet in less than a second? Like there was a fucking fundamental flaw here.
Priorities.
Fuck you.
If they keep on bringing the Flash up, like how he can run fast as this, faster than that, faster than light, faster than anything in that could ever possibly be fast.
It's the fastest man alive.
There's no argument that he's faster than Superman. There's no argument. The fact that there's even there's even at this point, maybe back in the day, back when like everybody was wondering, I was like, whoa, who's faster, Superman or the Flash? No, at this point, the argument has to stop to where Flash he's faster.
Right.
Yeah. No. And another thing that I want to point out about the CW Flash is the series used to open up with like, "Hi, my name is Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man alive." Like, it no longer does that because fuck you, Barry Allen. That's why. I don't know what the reason that they went with. I guess it's just like a shorter intro because it's just like a quick, like campy song, and then they cut to. But I loved the fact that every season of The Flash was literally proving the intro wrong.
Right.
Hi, I'm Barry Allen, fastest man alive, except for Reverse Flash, except for Zoom, except for Savitar, except for all of these other people.
Let's put an asterisk right there.
Yeah, fastest man alive currently.
Ish.
Currently. Because like most of his people are from the
Smallest print
future.
ever, just ish.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I feel like
Flash is like the luckiest here, though. Like all Batman's villains, like they all just want to murder him. Flash is they're like, here, we will teach you to beat us. Like Eobard Thawne. He was like, I'm gonna teach you to be faster, which is what Barry needed. And then Zoom was like, yeah, you're still not fast enough, Barry. So it causes Barry to train harder. And same thing, I guess, with Savitar.
With Savitar, it was just like, I know I can do this because I already did it. It's
right.
me. I'm Savitar. And
which I kind of didn't like that they combined those two characters, but
No,
it's meh.
I'm also, since we're on the topic of the Flash, Godspeed in this fucking series is, I want to choke whoever decided. I obviously we can't give the real Godspeed because it's just not fair, but they nerfed him so fucking much.
Well, they have to. I mean,
I know, but he kills like
everybody.
The fucking one cover of Godspeed is him holding the Flash's fucking limp body in his hand. In this series, it's like, oh, there's Godspeed. We should stop him. Oh, it's not a real Godspeed. It's a fake Godspeed. And they're talking in binary. Okay, he's not here now. We don't know where he is. We don't know when he's coming back. In other news, Barry still loves his sister.
Non-biological.
I know they're non-biological sisters, but like I'm not even going to get into that. Not even going to get into how fucking weird that is. But whatever.
That's what happens when he doesn't have Oliver Queen.
That's true. Among very many other things. But yeah, there's a lot that we can unpack here tonight. But I think that I mean, honestly, as far as like ranting and stuff goes, I could probably go on for the next like 6 days, but
right.
I have work, so and I have to be an adult. But that does not mean that we cannot record very soon and bring the people what they want, which is random facts and bits of information about comic books and superheroes.
All right, the next topic on Super is going to be how Chris Evans will return as the Torch.
Please, God.
Right up there with Ryan Reynolds,
Green Lantern.
Oh my God.
I forced myself to watch that movie.
And Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
So I will say this about the Green Lantern.
Top 5.
The best part about the Green Lantern was Ryan Reynolds. Everything else sucked.
Sinestro, man.
Well, Sinestro, I like the concept of it. I wish they gave him his due. Like,
oh no, like if there would have been a sequel to that movie, like he would have killed it as Sinestro. Now
Exactly.
The movie probably would have been a flaming pile of dog crap inside of a dumpster fire. But I think that he would have nailed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So again, we will absolutely get back on here and rant. I have a couple friends who are very interested in coming on and being guests. We've had a lot of things happen in the comic book world that we will break down very soon. We have the finale of What If. We have Titans finale coming up. Everything.
Comic-Con in Baltimore.
Oh, yes. And then we will be at Comic-Con in Baltimore at the end of October.
Come out and say hello.
Yes, absolutely. Look for us. We'll be wearing our Something Super shirts and handing out fantastic swag to all of our fans. So on that note, I think that is a wrap for this episode. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Mark, you want to try the outro? I'm not going to.
Well, what is it now? We did it in the intro.
I know. Well, I double tap that. Why not?
Double tap it?
Yeah.
You're going to put me on Johnny on the fly like that. I got you. Guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in, as always. John, again, welcome to the team. We're happy to have you. Really excited to talk with you about all your likes, your dislikes within Marvel, Star Wars, DC, everything else. For all you out there, if you're still with us, we really do appreciate you guys all the time. Catch us out there on the social media. On Facebook, it's Something Super Podcast. On Twitter, it's at SS Podcast 52. And on Instagram, come out, follow us, give us a like, give us some shares at Something Super Podcast.
All right, guys. As always, I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm John.
And catch us on Fridays. See you next week.